Welcome back to HDtv Health District Television. Regular viewers may remember a story we brought you some time back on the dangers of lead poisoning, particularly in children. The district's project to address that problem, the Childhood Lead Poisoning Prevention Program, has spawned another, even more comprehensive approach to improving the health and quality of life in southern Nevada. With that story, here's the district's chief spokesperson, Jennifer Sizemore.
In keeping with our ongoing efforts to prevent disease and injuries to Southern Nevada residents, as well as improving their overall well-being, the Southern Nevada Health District is teaming up with UNLV in the new Nevada Healthy Homes Partnership Program. The aim? To improve the quality and availability of safe and healthy homes for Nevada residents. It focuses on such things as reducing disease triggers, preventing accidental injuries, eliminating poisoning hazards, and finding resources to fix structural or maintenance issues which could affect the health of a home's residents.
The Healthy Homes concept is a really remarkable holistic concept, and I hope we can use that word holistic because back in my day in private practice, for a while it kind of took on a negative connotation where all kinds of non-scientific methods of treating patients might have been intermingled with good scientific methods, and it kind of smeared the name holistic. But by holistic we mean it's a comprehensive and total approach. So when we talk about healthy homes, instead of talking about we're going to go in and get rid of this disease or that disease like asthma, or we're going to get rid of slip and fall injuries, we talk about what are we going to do in a holistic way where each of these different principles are interrelated.
Nevada Healthy Homes Partnership is funded out of a grant from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And basically it started with our lead program. We used to go in and check a lot of homes for lead, or we would go in after children tested positive for lead poisoning. And we would go to their home environment and find out where they were getting exposed to this lead from. Was it paint? Was it from soil in the backyard? You know, those are very common sources. And so over the years, they've kind of moved into this healthy homes model. It says when we're in the home looking for paint or looking for other issues related to lead, we should be looking for other things like mold, like pests and cockroaches and mice and things that can trigger asthma. We should be looking for issues like are they properly ventilating their appliances? Are they not doing things that are causing them basically to be sick from things they're doing in their own home?
And one thing about the Nevada Healthy Homes Partnership is the two main partners is the Southern Nevada Health District along with UNLV. But we have many, many other community partners of all walks of life. For example, a major partner on the outside is a organization called Rebuilding Together. And this is an organization formerly known as Christmas in April, where they go into a private homeowner's home who doesn't have the funds to be able to handle a major problem with the home, like plumbing problem or an air conditioning and heating problem, and actually provide that to that person. We want every type of partner that there is in the community to be part of Nevada Healthy Homes Partnership, because that's the only way we can tackle this problem.
That's the whole kind of driving force behind Healthy Homes, is we don't have the resources, but somebody does. And so how do we connect those correct people to get those resources from the right agency? Rebuilding Together does a great job. Help of Southern Nevada does a great job, and we refer a lot of things to them. They do a lot of emergency work. We have got great connections with our weatherization programs too. So if you got leaks or gaps or air, if you can get air in, you can get pests in. So they're all kind of connected. So one thing leads to the other. Of course, dust is coming in, dirt coming in, and so there's just all sorts of things in the home that are directly connected.
The Nevada Healthy Homes program is not limited to homes badly in need of rehab. Virtually any home in Clark County could be improved through increased education about pests, energy efficiency, environmental awareness, and accident prevention, all of which would go a long way to improving health and well-being. Many conditions have environmental triggers, asthma for example, but what you might not realize is that certain pests can cause it to worsen. Pests like, say, cockroaches.
Unfortunately, they're an asthma trigger, which is one of the big things. And roaches, as they wander around, of course, leave a lot of things behind. And when they go to the bathroom, there's kind of a special word for cockroach poo, if you will. It's called frass. And so frass is the term that we use for cockroach poop. And cockroach poop has two specific allergens in it that really interact with your immune system. And they can actually, in young children, lead to the development of asthma, and in people who already have respiratory problems, they can cause asthma triggers. And so those are very problematic.
If you have an unhealthy home full of asthma triggers, no matter how many times you go to the emergency room, no matter how many times you see your physician, and no matter how much money you're spending on medication, you are not going to get a handle on that problem, and the child is still going to suffer.
And in addition to creating known asthma triggers, cockroaches can also be the bearers of a number of other most unpleasant things.
Unfortunately, cockroaches do carry disease. And with the cockroaches that we see even here in this part of the country, cockroaches can transmit certain foodborne diseases such as Salmonella, E. coli, Shigella, and these are bacterial foodborne diseases. It's even believed that other types of cockroaches, the German cockroach, which is one of the most common to enter the home, can possibly carry hepatitis virus and might even be carrying staph and strep, which can cause not only skin infections, but we've learned in the recent past, skin infections that can often invade the body and infect almost any portion or any organ of the body.
If you see one roach, you have many more roaches. And there's a couple things you need to do when you have roaches. Like us, they like to be full, they like to have something to drink, and they like to be warm. So food, water, and shelter. And so you have to deny their access into the house first and foremost. If there's gaps, leaks, holes, cracks around windows, doors, trim, whatever it happens to be, you have to block those up and make sure that those roaches can't get in.
If you live in Nevada, or virtually anywhere in the world for that matter, you are surrounded by cockroaches. We're all guilty of leaving dirty dishes in the sink overnight, crumbs on the counters, pet food in containers on the floor, all of which are all-you-can-eat buffets for roaches. So what's the best way to get rid of them in your particular home? Keith Supnick and Sean Gerstenberger have some thoughts on that.
You know, I've had them in my house more than once, and you got to look around and say, how do you seal it up? How do you get rid of them? How do you use the bait stations properly? And how do you deal with them?
You don't want to have to throw a nuclear bomb on a home to get rid of a pest, because what do we do in the meantime is we get rid of the occupants as well.
Dr. Gerstenberger explains it this way, with perhaps a little too much enthusiasm.
So what we usually do is we have these little baits, the little bait stations. And the other thing that roaches like is they like to be compressed. Okay, so they like tight spaces. They like to have something touching their back and their front side. Okay, about like a dime or a nickel, if you can slide them in there, that's roach heaven. And they like to slide right into those places. And so they'll get in these little cracks and then they come out at night. They're of course nocturnal. So you put the little bait stations out and they actually smell like dog food. Okay, we've discussed why, because they like to come in and eat dog food. And then they have a pesticide in there. They eat that, they take it back and they'll crawl back in their home, and of course it makes them sick. So they throw up. They leave their frass behind, and then their little carcasses die, and the other roaches will eat all of those. All of that contains the pesticide. Okay, so when they leave their little carcasses behind full of pesticide, the others will eat them, and it will poison all their friends, and it will take them back to the nests and the homes where they live.
And here's one more roach story you might want to bear in mind as grilling season really gets underway.
Barbecue grill is one of the ones that almost everybody looks. If you look, there's a little grease trap on the bottom of the barbecue grills that most people forget to clean. So all that food falls down in the grill and then it collects in a little grease trap. And at night, there's like this mass migration towards your grill, and all the roaches come in, they'll crawl up and they eat all that food out of the grill, and then they go back, and they are very, very happy. And so we've been to places where I don't know where they're coming from, I don't know what they're eating, and you look at the grill and it's just all grease. Remember that one drop of grease can feed a roach for 30 days? Imagine what a little vat of it this big around could do. It's a trough. It's a feeding station, and they just come in there by the thousands.
Roaches and other pests are just one area covered by the Nevada Healthy Homes Partnership. In future programs, we'll look at each of its 7 principles for a healthy home environment.
If you put a little bit of income and a little bit of spending up front, you can save a lot of future spending on the other end.
There's all sorts of things that you can do kind of as a family that we encourage them to do to help them understand how their house works. And you know, the home is a critical determinant of health. We spend 90% of our time indoors, and we always worry about everything outside, but we're inside. And so it makes sense for us to think of our house as a place where we should be safe and healthy and happy. There's a huge prevention component that absolutely will pay itself forward.
Thank you, Jennifer. When we come back, will tell you how to safely dispose of those unwanted and possibly deadly prescription medications cluttering up the medicine cabinet.